Hi, I'm Jim Holmberg from the Filson Historical Society, and we are standing here in Cave Hill Cemetery. Beautiful historic cemetery laid out in the 1840s. It's one of those really arboretum combined with a cemetery, just beautiful. And it was here in 1868 that many of the Clarks were moved from Mulberry Hill on the cemetery there on the family farm over here to Cave Hill as the developing kind of official beautiful cemetery instead of being scattered about on the family farm. And so the markers here in front of me mark many of those that were moved from Mulberry Hill over to here at Cave Hill. Now, of course, George Rogers Clark, we know, died at Locust Grove. That's where he spent the last 10 years of his life, 9 years of his life, and was moved here in 1869. But Captain Edmund Clark, Revolutionary War veteran, went back into the Army during the Quasi-War with the French. Jonathan Clark, Lieutenant Colonel in the Continental Line during the Revolution, Major General in the Virginia Militia, his wife Sarah Height Clark, and then their two sons, John Height Clark and Isaac Clark, who owned Mulberry Hill after his father Jonathan Clark passed, and he himself was a veteran of the War of 1812. They were all moved over on May 1st, 1868, per the will of Isaac Clark. He put in there that he wanted many of the family members moved over here to Cave Hill, but at Mulberry Hill they left the parents, John and Ann Rogers Clark, because that was their Kentucky home. But even though all of them had Kentucky homes, all these Clarks as well, they wanted them in this beautiful developing cemetery, which at that time then was some 20 years old. So these are the people that helped lay the foundation of not only the Clark family in Kentucky, but also were many of your early patriots, Revolutionary War veterans, War of 1812 veteran, that were so important to the history of not only Louisville and Kentucky, but really of our country. If you ever visit Louisville, and even if you're a resident here in Louisville, you can't really miss a visit to Cave Hill Cemetery. Again, it's historic, dating back to the 1840s. It's a beautiful, really arboretum, kind of a botanical garden almost, with all kinds of varieties of trees and shrubbery in the spring and in the fall. It's absolutely gorgeous. This really became the place to be buried. If you were part of Louisville's elite, upper crust, and even if you weren't, you could be and you would want to be buried at Cave Hill. And so not only the Clarks, but some of Kentucky's governors and mayors, senators, congressmen, James Guthrie, who was very important in the development of Louisville in many ways. He was the Secretary of the Treasury under Franklin Pierce, still said today to be one of the best secretaries of the Treasury we've ever had. He's buried here. Nicola Marshall, a well-known artist who had come over from Germany, he's here. I mean, the names are just too numerous to even start trying to list off. But really, it was kind of the who's who of Louisville. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Muhammad Ali is buried here. Colonel Sanders is buried here. So, you know, again, a lot of famous names. and maybe some not so famous, but it's a beautiful place to visit.